sustainable. Individuals, well, they might have looked for energy efficient appliances and drought friendly yards in the past. Now they're looking for yards that have room for victory gardens or composting. They're looking for a home with solar and a battery pack. They're looking for charging hookups for their cars. This sustainability piece not only plays for commercial real estate, but it really does play for the home as well. It used to be that when you walked through a home and you saw a fireplace and you asked, is it wood burning? And they said gas, and everyone would go, oh. Now, when you say, no, it's gas, and people say, yay, because they know that it's more eco-friendly. They'd more likely be able to have a fire on a spare the air alert day because it's not wood burning. They're not putting as much carbon up in the atmosphere that they probably still shouldn't be burning, but it is more eco-friendly. So sustainability is the next big disruptor in business. It really is. When you look at everything coming in for business, this is going to be the big one that's really going to shake up how companies operate, what they're thinking about, and what they're reporting on. So frameworks are going to be shifting business because it's going to be breathing sustainability into every process, procedure, and policy, because these frameworks demand that. It's really going to be looking at sustainability in supply chains, creating a much more diverse and inclusive and equitable culture, and workforce demographics within the organizations, taking a more engagement with the communities they operate in, and taking social stands on social or environmental justice issues. A lot of companies are coming out and making stances on climate change. There's lots of different things that can happen there. So real estate firms and owners are uniquely positioned to support this growing movement, right? So it's something that's going to be a big demand. And if the real estate industry can shift to being able to take advantage of that demand, it can be a real differentiator for both your properties and for your own real estate firms. There's opportunities in going from LEED to net zero. Does the building have a living roof? Is there gray water irrigation? Are they not just recycling, but is there a composting green waste pickup? Earth-friendly cleaning products, earth-friendly building materials, and then brokerage firms that have sustainable listings, are they certified themselves? Right? So certain companies, once you become a certified B Corp, you love using other certified B Corp companies because you're operating with somebody who has the same mission and purpose and values that you do. So that has a great differentiator there. So as a purpose-driven space continues to grow, becoming a purpose-driven firm like a certified B Corp is a valuable differentiator in a rapidly emerging area, and a really competitive market. California, we're in such a competitive market. So, to have that differentiator is huge. So let's dig into what B Corp certification is, the benefits of it, and if it's possibly right for your organization. So B Corp certification is for for-profit businesses. It's kind of like fair trade is to coffee or USDA is to milk. It's a global certification. So that's why I like this certification over others, is this is globally recognized. You can get certified here in the US and it holds across the world. And it's really one of the most rigorous certifications. They really do look at everything. And, we all are familiar with Patagonia, hopefully. Patagonia, we know they are extremely environmentally conscious, purpose-driven organization, and they've probably put themselves through just about every certification known to man. And they say out of all of the frameworks that this is the one that is the most rigorous that they trust. And that's why that they've stayed with it for so many years. So the goals of a B Corp, certified B corporations balance purpose and profit. So they don't, when they take, when they consider making changes to something, yes, it's going to be more profitable, but what are the impacts on the other things? What are the impacts to our employees? What are the impacts to, our clients? If we change our hours, how are our clients going to be able to get a hold of us? Or can our employees work those hours? Things like that. They're required to consider the impact of their decisions. And this is really wrapped into the governance of the business. So when you become a certified B Corp, you wrap that mission and purpose into the governance so that you have to consider the impact of your decisions. And it's a community of leaders, really, driving the global movement to use business as a force for good. And it is an exciting group to be a part of, for sure. I know when Sensiba Sanfilippo became a certified B Corp, we knew a lot of the benefits that we were going to gain from it. But the one that we didn't realize was going to be so impactful was the community that we became a part of. I know my managing partner, John Sensiba, says this all the time, is that he had no idea how powerful that community was, and the reach within that community. So it was really a wonderful, probably our favorite benefit was being a part of that movement community. So I know many of you might have heard of a benefit corporation versus a certified B corporation, and they're often confused because they sound like the same thing, but they're common, but they have a few differences. First, their similarities. They're both leaders of a global movement to use business as a force for good. They both meet higher standards of accountability and transparency. However, benefit corporation is a legal status conferred by state law in the United States, and a B Corp is a certification by a private organization, B Lab, and has no legislative framework. A benefit corporation status is not available in every state or business structure, right? They have a B corporation and they have a benefit corporation and a benefit LLC, but those are the only two structures that they have currently. While certified B Corps are available across the globe, regardless of corporate structure. Only certified B Corps have audited assessments and have to recertify, where benefit corporations self-report. So when you do the assessment, which I'll talk a little bit about the assessment later, but when you do the assessment, B Labs comes in and they audit that assessment, and you have to recertify every 3 years. So it's not just a check the box, one and done type of thing. It's rigorous, and you have to keep on it. B Corps have oversight by B Lab. Benefit corporations, they have no oversight. Once you set it up and you do your report, that's it. So benefits of becoming a B Corp. There are many. You've got leadership within your industry, differentiation. You've got some press and social buzz because it's, you can play with it a lot. It benchmarks your performance and is a really nice benchmark for your non-financial data. It helps root out waste and operational inefficiencies. It attracts and engages talent. And we all know attracting and keeping top talent is hard. And it attracts investors and buyers. So, that's great for your building owners because they want the buyers to come in, and they want investment for any expansions, things like that. So also the built-in prospect base. You can walk into, we're the only certified B Corp accounting firm in California. So for us to walk into a B Corp networking event and say, well, we're a B Corp accounting firm, a lot of times the business owners go, great, then we can move all our taxes to you. Like, yes, you can. Here's my card. B Corps love using other B Corps. So it's easy. It's a really nice built-in warm prospect base. And, there's a directory anytime, I know anytime I need any services or any products, I go to the directory and see if there's a B Corp that's doing it. And there's 150 industries that are certified B Corps. So likely there is. So it's a really nice directory. And that when you buy from a B Corp, they're paying their employees well, they're doing right by their community, they treat their customers well. So you kind of have, a good faith because they've got that certification. I've talked a little bit about why we became a B Corp. It really was showing that we could talk, showing that our walk and talk were in sync, right? When somebody said, you can get audited for that. We're accountants, we understand audit. So we're like, yeah, let's get audited for it. Let's get a report. It made sense to us. And a lot of firms out there say that, they have higher standards. It's kind of the taglines that in the service industry we all use. And so having a stamp on there that says, no, they really do mean it when they say they treat their customers well, they really do mean it, was really important to us, that, we had that backup, that credibility. So this statistic was pre-pandemic, but I left it in here because I thought it still made a point. B corporations are 63% more likely to survive a financial crisis like that of 2008. And we're kind of in one of those crises right now. And what we're seeing is B Corps are surviving better because they had their foundation of their business set up much stronger than somebody who hasn't gone through that process. They were able to have stronger supply chains because their supply chains were more sustainably minded. They were able to work better with their employees on pay cuts or, furloughing them and still keeping with their employees and getting them back once they started to hire them back, because the employees were so faithful to the business. They were able to retain that talent. So I think we're going to see, I'm really interested. I know they're probably going to do another big study after we're all done with this to see if these statistics really did hold true. And what I expect is they really are, because I'm seeing it with a lot of the B Corps and a lot of our clients. So who can become a B Corp? For-profit companies of any size. It could be a solo shop, a one-man shop. It could be a large corporation. Any industry in the world. And the assessment, it customizes for industry size and geography. So the questions are just a little bit different based on that. Any legal structure. And then the only thing is a company needs to be in business for at least 1 year. They do have a pending B for any startups, anyone who's been in business less than a year, and you can, show that you're setting up your company to be B Corp minded and get the pending B logo for your materials. So what does the process entail? So it is an assessment of about 300 questions. Many of them are multiple choice. You do have to attach the data showing your answers to each question. You have to reach 80 points out of 200 points possible. Now I know there's many of you going, 300 questions, 200 points, that doesn't match up. There are questions that are literally a tenth of a point. And so reaching a score of 80 points is actually kind of difficult for a lot of companies. And many companies the first time through may reach 82, 83. There is not currently a company that has 200 points. I think one of the highest B Corps is maybe around 149. So it's definitely, it's tough. But that's what holds the certification so to such high standards. Completing just the assessment can take 9 to 12 months because it is so many questions and you have to gather all your data. And there is an annual B Corp fee that once you become certified that you'll need to pay to B Lab. It is on a sliding scale based on revenue, and it's not that much. I think I can share that as our firm, when we certified, I think we're 32 million and we paid about $10,000 a year. So that gives you a gauge of how much the fee would be. And you need to recertify every 3 years. Sensitive Sanfilippo is up for recertification next year. I'm really excited because we have grown our points. So we originally certified at 80.9. And right now, with the assessment I'm working on, we're already scoring 88. So we've gained 8 points within these last 3 years. And I'm not even done with the assessment yet for recertification. So I'm really excited. So what do they look at? What does B-Lab look at? So there are 5 different areas. They look at your governance, how your business operates. They look at workers, how you treat your employees, community, environment, and customers. And they really do dig into each of those, and they tie into each other. So as you go through, you may answer a question in workers that actually plays in community as well. So it's really they really did a good job. It really does hit everything. So the community is, as of yesterday, about 3,700 companies worldwide in 150 industries, 74 countries, and all with one unifying goal of using business as a force for good. So you might already know a lot of the brands. We talked about Patagonia, but I bet everybody has had Ben & Jerry's ice cream. They are a B Corp. Or had maybe some Ultra Echo chocolate or some Clover Sonoma milk, wearing Allbirds shoes. So there's lots of different brands that you may use every day that you don't even know are B Corps, but they are. And then here is who is a B Corp in your industry. So I went through the directory and I pulled out a handful of different real estate companies that are all over the United States. There really are all over the world. So I kind of kept it just the US. And then you can also see, I pulled out some companies that you guys might work with, like a general contractor or Gelfin Partners in San Francisco that does the interiors of buildings, or Next Door Photos, which does all the photos for listings. You know, so there are a lot in your industry, but it's still pretty small. So it is still a very good differentiator if you do become certified. So here is my contact information if you want to get in touch with me and learn more. Also, I had to do a shameless plug for my podcast, and that's the show, folks. Do we have any questions, Helen?
Yes, we do. Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you. I kept like screenshotting your presentation. I'm like, this is so awesome. And every time I have a question, you answer them already. I'm like, oh, okay. But we do have a couple of questions. Celine is asking, how do you measure sustainability performance? I think you have gone over that already a little bit. Not a little bit, actually quite in detail. And there's also these scoring points. Mm-hmm. I'm actually kind of curious. I see that there are a lot of these real estate companies in the industry who have applied. And is there a kind of like a general sense, it's like, oh, you need to be certain size of a company in order to be able to apply for this?
No, there's companies, like I said, that are solo consultants or just a 1 or 2 man shop. But then, there's companies with 200 employees or 5,000 employees. I think one of the largest certified B Corps is Danone North America, which is the company that owns, Dannon yogurt and Silk and, quite a large food brand. Mm-hmm. Unilever is trying to get through the process, though it's rather large. So we're hoping because they're a really good company. But yeah, it can be companies of all sizes.
That's good news. So actually a lot of us here who are actually a real estate business owner of our own company can really consider that. And I love the fact that what you were saying is nowadays, when we conduct our business, it's not really just, like I said earlier, it's not just about, commercial real estate. And I see people talk about like, this is how much I make and how many transactions. It's more than that. Every industry, people are really looking for what kind of impact you are making, mm-hmm. Instead of just always talking about just a dollar amount.
Right, right.
Yeah, and Celine actually has another question. It says, she said, given the cost of obtaining B Corp certification, do you see bigger and, well, I guess that's also what we were saying, see bigger and more established business getting the B Corp certification? So yeah, again, it's just such a great news to hear that not only the big companies, that's what
Mm-hmm.
I thought at first when you were about to present this, I thought only the big companies and corporations will
Mm-mm.
be the one that can apply for this.
No, no, it's everybody. There are a lot of small shops and a lot of big companies, and that's what's great about the B Corp assessment in particular, is that it is so accessible. You could literally go on bcorporation.net today and
Mm.
sign up for the assessment, and it's completely free.
That was my next question, is how much it costs, and
It's
do you need
completely
to hire
free to
somebody?
take. Yeah, it's completely free to take the assessment. The only time that you would incur some cost is when you actually get certified, and then you're paying your fee to B Lab. And once you get through the assessment and see the work that B Lab is doing, you don't feel bad about paying them a fee.
Yeah, I
It's going
bet.
towards a good movement, and supporting good things. And so it's completely free to start. And a lot of people will get in, and it's something that a business owner can do themselves, especially if they're a small shop, right? The
Mhm.
business owner, many times when you go through this in a larger organization or medium-sized organization, you're going to it's going to take a village to fill out the assessment, because you're going to need your marketing person, your IT person, your finance person, your HR person, to get all of that information. But really, if you're a sole proprietor, you are all those things. So you can get through the assessment pretty quickly, just from that respect, because all of the answers to all the questions.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, smaller businesses, you guys can get through it yourselves. And there might be a couple of questions where you might want to, pull in a consultant just for a couple hours, just to pick their brain. There's lots of B Corp consultants out there. I myself do B Corp consulting, so I am one option.
Oh,
Um,
good to
but
know.
when you get into calculating your greenhouse gas emissions and doing those calculations, or how do I dig into my supply chain, or how do I do all the different things that it asks for, because it's going to make you look at your business in a whole new way,
Yeah.
and look at things that you might not have had to look at in quite a few years. And you're
Mhm.
like, okay, yeah, I really could do that better.
That's interesting. And I am just kind of curious about, like you said, a greenhouse emission and all that. Whether some companies, they might not even have it nowadays. A lot of companies, they say, like, okay, you guys can work from home. Would that
Mhm.
actually have like certain impact to the scoring?
Yeah, yeah. So I know, I can use Sense of a Sanfilippo as a great example. We had, we in 2019, we did a complete offset of all of our greenhouse gas emissions, and we included even our employees' commute to the office.
Mhm.
We looked at, our auditors are driving all over, trying to, get to the different clients to do, in-house counting and doing the auditing right there on site. We've got people flying to conferences. We have a lot of clients that are actually in Southern California, so we fly staff down there. So we calculated all of that and offset it. Well, this year we really only had January through March 15th.
Yeah.
Because we really didn't have many people going. I mean, we had a couple people that were going into the office maybe once a week, to grab the mail, to grab all the checks that are coming in, to print off tax returns and mail them off. But it wasn't like it was. So yes, our carbon footprint for 2020 is much smaller. And so we will have a lot less to offset. And it'll get a little more complex, because not everybody at our firm is going to come back to the office full
Mhm.
time, even after this is all over. There's a lot of folks that have said working from home is the best thing that's ever happened, and I don't want to give that up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the way our company operates, we can allow them to do that. We can allow them to stay remote.
Yeah, that is so true. And honestly, I think before this happened, a lot of people were always wondering, like, how can somebody work from home? And I personally have been working from home since I had little kids, little babies, so I needed to be home. That was kind of like my lifestyle already. And then now to be working from home with my children here at home too, it's like, after a year, this is really the lifestyle. I'm okay with it. And I think a lot of people are starting to feel that too. And my husband used to say, there's no way I'm going to be working at home. And now he's doing it and it's working out great.
Mm-hmm.
And Tim Tukowski, he asked if do B Corps like to do business with other B Corps?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, we did. We went and looked at all of our vendors, and we continue to audit our vendor list to say, is this really the best company that we could be using for this service? Are they a B Corp? Are they local? And making sure that we really are using local providers and using certified B Corps. And maybe they're not a certified B Corp, maybe they have another ESG framework that they're reporting on, and they're still just a really fantastic company that's very socially minded. So we look at that, so that we don't always use the big corporations, right? For our services, that we really do make sure that our money is getting back into the community, into the right places.
That's interesting. So like for somebody who is not part of the B Corp, we can go onto a website to search. Like, let's say we want to work on, with certain vendor, we just search for that in that directory, right?
Yeah, they have a directory and you can search by just about anything.
Yeah.
And they've got some predefined categories that you can search within, consumer goods and such. But yeah, and once you become a B Corp, you can get special offers from other B Corps and get discounts. So it's discounts for all the employees of a B Corp. Yeah. So, there's
this
nothing like getting 35% off of Fetzer wines.
This is really interesting. I mean, I kind of kept thinking back to like CCIM, you work really hard towards this destination. And then of course, those people who actually earn this destination have worked really hard. They really focus on the professionalism and the high standard. B Corp is the same thing. You go on, then that's why you look for these vendors to work with.
Exactly. And now that you know about it, you're going to start flipping products over and going, oh, it's a B Corp.
Totally.
It's a B Corp. Now that you know about it, it's on your radar. You're going to see that logo everywhere. You'll walk by an Athleta store and see the huge logo on the window, or turn over your Numi tea or Stash tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the last question from Ernie. It's like, what are some of the most common improvements that companies typically go through when going through this process?
Good question. Good question. So some of the improvements is definitely employee engagement. Employee engagement definitely goes up because you start measuring it, and we all know once you measure something, it's gonna improve. Employee engagement definitely goes up, particularly because you are giving your employees a sense of purpose. I know when we announced that we became a certified B Corp and what it was and what it meant. Our employees really loved it and embraced it. And employees I wouldn't have thought, would have jumped on the B Corp bandwagon were all over it. It tickled me. So it was really lovely to see. You start looking at processes that you've done your whole, that you've done since you started the company, and you start to realize that maybe you shouldn't do certain things a certain way anymore. And you really start to root out waste and inefficiency. I go through this with a lot of my manufacturing clients. It's just, looking at helping them reduce waste. And one company I worked with was a press house in Gilroy, and we eliminated 2 of their dumpsters. And that doesn't sound like much, but that adds up. Yeah. Cost wise, we eliminated 2 of their dumpsters, and they were getting pickups twice a week, and they were down to once a week.
Oh, wow.
So, and because they weren't wasting material as much, they didn't have to buy more material as much. So, you start going through the different waste reduction things. Like, do you have to print that out? Yeah. Do you really need 5 printers throughout the office and all the leasing for, the cost of those 5 printers throughout the office?
Absolutely.
Little stuff like that. And it all adds up, even just keeping employee turnover down, because we all, the statistic out there is it costs about $50,000 to replace an employee on average. And so trying to, keeping your talent, that's huge.
That is so amazing. I think there's so many good pointers over here. And I'm really curious how many people after this session is going to try to apply. If you are going to apply and you have gone through the whole process, please do share with us and let us know what is your result. And I think even though if you don't pass, let's say you don't get the 80 points, now you know, okay, what do I need to do in order to improve myself? This is really interesting. And I absolutely love this topic because it is also a great way to start our January 2021, because we have to, again, think more about what is the purpose of our company, what kind of impact we can make, no matter if it's your own business, you're volunteering, whatever you're doing right now. Even I feel like even with our kids, what can we do to give them a bigger purpose in this life? So I really appreciate Jennifer being on here, sharing this amazing information. And again, our session is recorded. It will be on YouTube. So check back on our YouTube channel later this week and it will be on there. Thank you. And I hope everybody enjoy your day. Thank you again, Jennifer.
Guys. Bye.
Bye.